Hi, I'm Rebecca Davis from Weird, Scary, and Interesting. Today's topic we're going to be talking about is urban legends. Urban legends, a humorous or horrifying story, or a piece of information circulated as though true, expecting on the redounding to involve someone vaginal related or unknown to the teller. A modern fictional tale that passed from one person to another. This video is all about urban legends that has been told over the years. Some were true, but some were not true. They are just myth or tale, as modern genre of the folk tale. So sit tight and let's hear about some urban legends. Number 1. The 27 Club. The 27 Club is an urban legend that's popular musicians and other celebrated artists died at the age of 27 with sexually more or less frequent Noel, Brian Jones, Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, Maya Zappa, Jim Morrison, and Kurt Cobain, and Jean Michael, hopefully I pronounced this name right, Quitier, Amy Winehouse. The claim of the satchel spike for the death of the musicians of that age has been repeatedly disapproved by studies. So more or less it happens to be a coincidence that they died at the same age. Okay, we're moving on. Number 2. Aerial water bomber picking up scuba diver is an urban legend about an aerial water bomber or a helicopter with a dangling water bucket, scooping up a scuba diver and dumping them on wildfire site. This urban legend was used as a plot device in the films of Magnolia and Barney's Vision. The urban legend debunking site scopes reports there are no proven cases of this happening in reality. The Discovery Channel show The Mythbusters also disapproves this myth. We're moving on to number 3. Baby Train is an urban legend which claims that a small town and a usual high birth rate because a train usually passed through the town at 5 a.m. blows his whistle, waking up all the residents since it was too late to go back to sleep too early to get up. Couples would have a little hanky-panky. This results in the mini baby boom. Okay. Moving on to number 4. Oh my, hopefully I pronounce this. Caborosaurus. Cabby is a sea serpent in folklore of regions of the Pacific coast of North America. Its name is partly derived from the Caboroa Bay in Greater Victoria, BC, British Columbia, for the rest of you. Okay, we're moving on. Wonder if any of you believe in sea monsters. So you put it down in the comments at the end. We're moving on to number 5. The Dark Watchers. Also known by the early Spanish settlers as, let me get this right, Los Vicatelis. Oscarosaurus is a legend from Santa Clara region, California, concerning a group of large as salient-like antilles report to observed travelers from a distance. The Dark Watchers are described as tall, sometimes a great size, featureless, dark solutions from Adorabino with brimmed hats or walking sticks. They are most often reported to be seen in hours around twilight and dawn. They are said to motionlessly watch travelers from the horizon along the Santa Clara mountain range. According to legend, no one has seen one up close, and if someone were to approach them, they disappeared. Spooky, isn't it? Okay, we're moving on to number 6. To the Enfield poltergeist was a claim of supernatural activity at 285 Green Street, a social house in Brimsdown in Field, London, England, between 1977 to 1979, involving 2 sisters, the age of 11 and 13. The alleged poltergeist activity was centered on sisters Janet, age 11, and Margaret Hodgson, age 13. Some members of the Society for Psychic Research, SPR, such as inventor Merce Gross, and writer Guy Leon, Playfair believed the haunting to be genuine, while others such as Anita Gregory and John Belfour were unconvinced and found the girls had faked the incident for the benefit of journalism. Members of the Committee for Scientific Research Claims of the Paranormal, CSICOP, including the stage magicians such as Melbourne Christopher and Joe Nickel, criticized the paranormal research for being collusive and whistled, also identifying elements of the cast as being incipient of a hoax. The story attracted press coverage in the British newspapers, has been mentioned in books, featured in television and radio documents, and dramatized in the 2016 film The Conjuring 2. Okay. Move on to number 7. Fair Charlotte is a legend of how a foolish New England girl froze to death during a sleigh ride to a New Year's ball because she was too vain to put warm clothing over her silk dress. The source was a 1838 Monolly tale of a vain girl who froze to death in London. The story is a cautionary tale, containing a young girl called Charlotte who refused to wrap up while warmly to go on a sleigh ride to a New Year's ball. Upon arriving at the ball, her fiancé describes that she has frozen to death during the journey. I guess you have to wrap up if you don't want to be like her. Okay. We're moving on to number 8. The Great Way to Hell is an urban legend and located in Stall Cemetery, Kansas. The stairs in an old demolished church open to the other side on Halloween. The spring equinox and the spring equinox. People soon said the cemetery was the location of one of the 7 gates of hell, and that the nearby evangelical Emmanuel Church ruin was possessed by the devil. Others claimed anonymously that the legend was engendered by killed of Stall's mayor back in 1850. Of the note, Stall was never recognized as a town, so never had a mayor. It is also said that during the trip, to Colorado in 1990s, the Pope redirected the flight path of his private plane to avoid the flying over the unholy ground of Stall. Although there was no evidence that has happened. However, most academics and historians and local residents are in agreement that the legend has no basis in historical fact. It was created, spread by students. Folks swear an old tree in the graveyard once served as gallows for the condemned witches who returned each year as Satan's army. But it is the cemetery that is most feared for. They say it is the Belle Zibby's grave. The voices of the dead will strangle you, while evil spirits carve out innards. They say in the basement of the abandoned church in Stall, Kansas, there is a staircase, and if you follow the staircase down and down and down, you will enter to hell itself, and if you can crawl your way back up The latter escapes from the bowels of hell. To reach the surface, you will have to climb for weeks. That is if the devil does not grab you first. They say on the night before Halloween, a woman in white dress lures the drivers to their death along the highway's edge, never to be seen again. And here's the following publications of the University of Kansas article. The legend pursues thrills and seekers to visit the cemetery. They would claim that weird and creepy events such as noises and memory lapses happening to them, leading to further speculation the town was haunted by witches and the devil. It became a popular activity for young folks, especially high school and college students from Lawrence and Topeka to the journey to the cemetery on Halloween. Or the Orthodox see the devil. Many would jump fences or others sneak their way into the property over the decades as the numbers of people make their excursions to the cemetery and drew the graveyard starting to demonstrate. This was exacerbated by vandals. To combat this, country's sheriff office patrols the area around the cemetery, especially on Halloween, and will arrest people for trespassing. Those caught inside the cemetery after it closes would face a maximum fine of $1,000 up to 6 months in jail. If you're gutsy enough, you will stay away from that cemetery. Your pocketbook would thank you, too. We're moving on to number 9. To Hanakuk and Hanakiko San is a Japanese urban legend of the spirit of a young girl named Hanakiko who haunts school bathrooms and can be described as a yuki or a yuki. To summon her, individuals must enter the girls' bathroom, especially on the 3rd floor of the school. Knock 3 times on the stall and asked if Hannah Eiko-san is present. If Hannah Eiko-san is there, she'll repeat the same variation of "Yes, I am." Depending on the story, the individual may then witness the appearance of a bloody or ghostly hand. The hand or Hannah Eiko-san herself may pull the individual into the toilet, which may lead to hell. Or the individual may be eaten by a three-headed lizard who claims that the individual was invading Hanakiko's in privacy. Make sure you stay out of the girls' bathroom. That's that. Okay. Moving on to number 10. The likely more UFO incident was a supposed extraterrestrial sighting by a retired police officer in the moorland of West Yorkshire, England. Since December 1st, 1987, a retired police officer claimed that he was abducted by aliens. While on the morning walk, a brief hailed on their craft before returning to the moor. The man took a photograph of the moor, which he said shows one of the aliens that abducted him. The photographic subsequently became a news story in the UK. It was been cited as one of the strongest pieces of evidence that we have that extraterrestrials have visited Earth. It has also been described as individually blurred. Skeptics have dismissed the incident as a hoax, saying that the photograph shows something else, such as a man or a cardboard cutout. Okay. Do you believe that? Do you believe the sheriff seen something? Okay, we're moving on to number 11. JATO rocket started as a Darwin Award winner, where the driver strapped a pair of jet-assist takeoff JATO units in the rear of his car and ended up smashed in the side of the hill in Arizona. No police evidence in Arizona took a report of this type of accident. The Arizona Department of Police Safety have issued a press release on the website debunking the report. This myth was also tested on Discovery Channel show Mythbusters multiple times. Man who supposedly met his death in this spectacular manner after mounting a JATO unit, a rocket engine used to help heavy aircraft take off onto the ordinary automobile. It was originally calculated as a forward email. In 1996, after numerous inquiries, the Arizona Department of Public Safety issued a news release post on their website cautioning the story. It deemed the story Arizona myth. The story was also debunked in 2003 in a pilot episode of Mythbusters titled Jet Assessed Chevy. Okay, we're moving on. Number 12, the killer in the back seat. Also known as high beams, is a common car crime urban legend, well known mostly in the United States and the United Kingdom. The legend involves a woman who is driving and being followed by a strange car or truck. The mysterious pursuers flashes high beams, tailgates her, and sometimes even rams her vehicle. When she finally makes it home, she realized the driver was trying to warn her. There was a man hiding in her back seat. Each time the man sat up to attack her, the driver behind had used the high beams to scare the killer, after which he ducked down. That makes you check your back seat next time before you get into your vehicle. Okay, we're moving on to number 13. Licked hand, also known as doggy licked or humans lick too, is an urban legend popular among teenagers. The story describes a killer who secretly spends the night under a girl's bed, licking her hand, then offered which she takes to be her dog. A very young girl is home alone for the first time with only her dog for company. Listening to the news, she hears of a killer on the loose in the neighborhood. Terrified, she locks all the doors and windows, but she forgets about the basement window, and it's left unlocked. She goes to bed, taking her dog to her room with her and letting it sleep under her bed. She wakes in the night to hear dripping sounds coming from the bathroom. The dripping noise frightens her, but she is too scared to get out of bed and finding out what it is. To assert herself, she reaches a hand towards the floor for her dog. It warded her by inserting a lick on her hand. Next morning, she's awake. She wakes. She goes to the bathroom for a drink of water, only to find her dead and mutilated dog hanging in the shower with his blood slowly dripping onto the tiles on the shower wall, writing the dog's blood on the wound are the words, "Humans can lick too." Okay, we're moving on to number 14. Mackenzie's Poltergeist is the supposed restless spirit of George Mackenzie, an infamous figure in the Scottish history who engaged in merciless scenes of religious mockeries to extend a portion of the graveyard of the Greyfriars Kirkyard. He haunts is decided somewhat ironly to his countless victims. In 2003, the disrhymed doom tomb of Sir George Mackenzie was entered by 2 teen boys. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Age 17 and 15 via evangelical slot in the rear. Now sealed. They reached the lower vault containing the coffins, broke the coffins open, and stole a skull. The police arrived as they were playing football with the skull on the grass. They appeared nearly escaped the imprisonment on the little used but still extended charge of vandalism, speculars. Okay, we're now going to move on to number 15. The Naya Okatoma story is a common legend suggesting that the Thai Maya a TIE fighter, had beaten 9 Burmese Leath fighters in a row, with no rest point in 1767, I mean. Unlimitedly, he wins his freedom from King Mangrai in Burma. I wouldn't be able to beat any 5 fighters in a row. Okay, we're moving on to number 16, the Owl Man. Sometimes referred to as the Cornish Owl Man or the Owl Man of Moana. Is a folklore legend that describes an owl-like creature said to have been seen in 1976 in the village of Moana, hopefully I pronounced that right, Cornwall, United Kingdom. Reported sightings of it flew above the church tower, which led some to believe the creature may have been a barn owl, species that commonly nest in such places. Could have been a new species, could have been just simple barn owl. Who knows? Okay, we're moving on. Number 17. Paul is dead. Is an urban legend suggesting that Paul McCartney of the English rock band The Beatles died in 1966. I guess it was supposed to be from a car accident, the legend is supposed to be. But was secretly replaced by a body double. It's funny, he actually knows, but it's because I've seen videos on YouTube and having interviewed. It's on one of the late night shows. It's funny. And simply, urban legends have formed around Avril Lavigne and Melania Trump. Yes, people want to believe what they want to believe, I guess. Okay, we're moving on. And I don't believe that he's still alive. Okay, we're moving on. To number 18. The Rat Man of Southend is an English urban legend outing in Southend on Sea, Sussex. The story of the Rat Man tells of an old homeless man that was seeking shelter from the cold in an underpass was set upon by a group of youths and beaten to near death, cold and bloodless, doing the nest as he died. Numbers of vermin who inhabit the area gathered and were found to have devoured his face. After his ghostly figure Hey, Snowy. After this ghostly figure was spotted in an underpass with people hearing the rat man like squealing and scrapping as a large claws were moving across the wall. Oh, that gives me the heebie-jeebies. And I'm reading this. Okay, we're gonna move on. If you wonder who's in the back, that's Snowball, Stash's sister. Okay, we're now gonna move on to number 19. To La Saint Camarnia is a folklore legend that describes a deep-rooted mythical belief in rural northwest of Iberia, Galicia, Asturias, Spain. It's in Spain. There you are. And northern Portugal. It is Iberian version of the pan-European mythical metaphor known as Wild Hunt. Okay, we're moving on. Number 20. Teak, teak, teak is a ghost of a young woman or schoolgirl who was tied to a railroad line by bullies, which resulted in her body being cut in half by a train. She is on Aurora or a vengeful spirit who lurks around urban areas and train stations at night. Since she no longer has lower extremities, she travels on either her hands or elbows, dragging her upper torso, making a scratching or teek, teek, teek like sound. If she encounters a potential victim, she will chase them and slice them in half at the torso with a saber or other weapon. We're moving on. You don't want to tangle with her. We're moving on. Number 2. For you wrestling fans. The Ultimate Warrior. I never heard of this urban legend, and I used to watch wrestling. This urban legend about the Ultimate Warrior was he was an American professional wrestler whose death was suspected of numerous urban legends. Stories existed that he either tied his tassels too tightly and cut off circulation to his body, and overdosed on steroids, or was killed in ring while wrestling. Warrior eventually died in 2014 from a heart attack. I remember when this happened and he died. It was sad. And the speech he gave was haunting. Okay. For you wrestling fans, have you ever heard of this urban legend? You can tell me at the end of this video in the comment section. Okay, we're moving on. Number 22, the Vanishing Hitchhiker. Or the variations such as Ghostly Hitchhiker, or the Disappearing Hitchhiker, or the Phantom Hitchhiker, simply the Hitchhiker. So it's the Vanishing Hitchhiker. Story is an urban legend in which people traveling by a vehicle meet with or are accommodating by a hitchhiker who squarely vanishes without explanation. Often from moving. Hello, Stash. Okay. Thank you, Stash. You screwed me up. Okay. Often from moving vehicle, vanishing hitchhikers have been reported for centuries. The story is found across the world with many variations. The popularity and endurance of the legend has helped it spread into popular culture. This is why you don't pick up hitchhikers. Listen, that's good advice. Even if they're alive or not. Okay, moving on to number 23, Walking Sam, or Tall Man, is an urban legend that describes a 7-foot-tall specter whose job is to collect the souls of suicide victims and stalks lonely and depressed in isolations. If you have thoughts of in your life, give them out. reach out. This guy sounds pretty scary. What I read. Well, he's not true. Okay, moving on. And we're on the last one, number 24. The Zombie Road, now called Rock Hall Trail, is an urban legend and abandoned travel road located in the Al Foster Memorial Trailhead, Missouri. Okay, that's it for me for this episode. And I want to say my thoughts on the current the hurricanes that are going on in the south of the United States. It's terrifying. I've been watching the news about it. I guess the hurricane season's not over yet, what they say on the news. My thoughts and prayers are for everybody that are struggling through that, or struggling through anything in life that is terrifying and traumatizing. Like this weather, tropical season weather, storms, even with the forest fires that we've been going through too. It's so terrible. Once it's almost like what's next with forest fires, now the hurricanes. It's just that terrible. Hopefully you're safe for anybody that's going through that. And it's, yeah, sure. Sure, Lucas. It's me. I don't know what the hurricanes. I live where we don't get hurricanes. I live in Manitoba, in the middle of Canada. So, but I sympathize that we have storms that almost kind of act like hurricanes. And the forest fires, we get the smoke that travels. Yeah, so hopefully you're all safe. And for our Canadian watchers, have a happy Thanksgiving. So goodbye for next time.